Pat Ford Coalition Radio Network. We are here at Barrington High School. Tragic news tonight as the Barrington Three's dismissal was in fact upheld. I'm standing here with Patrick McCrane. Now, I want to make this very clear. We're going to be talking to him as an individual. We're going to, out of respect for, quite frankly, the personal courage he displayed tonight and the integrity, we're going to walk away from his role as a member of the Town of Barrington School Board, if you will. I'll leave it up to you to make just a quick statement. From a lot of people who are going to hear this, thank you. But what are your thoughts right now as a resident of Barrington, as someone who's personally invested in what most consider arguably one of the finest school systems, not just in Rhode Island, but in New England? What impact does this have?
Well, thanks for giving me the chance to speak, and to reiterate, definitely speaking as a personal member of the community here, as an individual. I guess part of what I've learned over the past couple of years serving and also just being an active member in the town is running a school district effectively is ridiculously complex. And there's just many tough situations to navigate. The pandemic, obviously, not something that I think schools were trained or really prepared to deal with. That said, we've had time, unfortunately, through the pandemic to get better at learning how to master the challenges that we're facing. And I think that part of what we're trying to do here tonight is to, sort of ask some of those deeper questions. Are we making the right decisions? Are we going through the right process? Are we generating outcomes that are best for our students, for our staff, and for what we're trying to do in terms of a leadership model? And I just felt like that, the information that was presented tonight wasn't consistent with what I believe to be, our best possible outcomes. And so I stuck with my vote that I made originally, which was that I felt that decision should be overturned.
It's been clear from the beginning that these teachers' competence was never an issue. That, in fact, these three teachers represented some of the very best of the very best here at Barrington High, which is arguably one of the best.
Right.
Teachers, for a lot of reasons, are under attack in a lot of different ways. Some very nuanced, some very subtle, some very confrontational. From your perspective, as someone who is in the position of hiring teachers, what kind of signal does this send?
That's an excellent question. I'll say, we oversee that. We give the right to hire teachers in Barrington to the superintendent, although we do manage him. Inside our space, I don't know. It was some heartbreaking information tonight to hear, that one of the teachers, Ms. Diorio, had just come here to the district, just a year earlier and given up tenure to be here in Barrington. And through that turn of events as they unfolded, she has lost her tenure, obviously now lost her job, and is in a very different situation just months after, coming here. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, Ms. Thurber, who was here for a long time and been serving our kids for over 20 years. I think overall, it's really hard to put a number or put a value on a person. We talk about lives changed, lives touched. I think all of us are involved and invested in education here, but involved in education in Barrington because we believe in the potentiality of what that education brings. And I think that we have to kind of carry that with us as we think about leadership in our schools and decision-making around our schools. And the finality of this decision, to me, was kind of runs counter to how I believe things work, right? When we meet students in the classroom or when we deal with individuals, we think about growth mindset, we think about evolution, we think about change, we think about finding opportunities to work together and not seeking out differences. And I felt like this process of decision making was more of the latter than the former.
Right. Well, thanks again. Thanks for joining us. And I know this is for someone like yourself who's so heavily vested in this school system, this has got to be an emotional moment because I know you see a lot of yourself and a lot of your family. You live in town, you're part of this town, part of this community. So again, from a lot of us, thanks for keeping an open mind. There's not a lot of that around these days, and that's sorely missed right now in government, in education, educational policy. The ability to have a conversation.
Yeah, I hear you.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.